Alright guys, it's the next day, Monday. I'm on the way to work, and you guys saw the Camaro. So what was the issue? Well, this is what I've learned in the short time that I've been on this earth, and the shorter time that I've messed with these carburetors. You can't trust anybody. You can't trust a manufacturer when they come back from being rebuilt or when they're out of the box. When you buy them from somebody, if you don't know what it's got in it, you're at a disadvantage. You're guessing. You're throwing a big swing to a hit box that's, 9 foot. If you need a hit or shoot or score a basket, you want the highest chance of success. And not knowing where the rim's at, or where the hit box at, or where the goal's at, going into it blindfolded, your chances of hitting that point or that goal or that basket go down drastically. We get over there, and my buddy James, it's his wife's car, and it's rowdy. Everybody heard it. All right, I love the car, and he buys this carburetor off of a guy that had on a small block dragster type deal, and he told me, "Hey man, I'm having problems with this thing." I said, "All right, what's it doing?" He said, it's got a stumble in it, and it's not acting right." I said, "All right. Well, I'll come look at it, and then we'll see what we can do with it." So, life got in the way, and I couldn't get over there until yesterday. We were supposed to go racing. We had some bad weather out here. Tornado hit the track. Tornado touched down probably 20 or so miles away from my house, and anybody that got caught in that weather over the weekend, I hope your family's safe. I hope you guys made it out okay. I know some people weren't so lucky, but I made it over there, and I started doing my thing, checking everything, and usually I work this stuff out on my own when it's with my own car, but this is a buddy's car, and I wanted to make sure that it was right. I started it up, started looking for it. You guys saw it on the first video, and I kind of let the video try and get what I was looking at, and right away I found out that the second squirter wasn't getting any juice, nothing. We weren't getting no go-go juice to the squirter. So, pulled the go-go juice, made sure that it was clean. Filter looked clean. Fuel looked clean. We had a lot of fuel pressure. Enough fuel pressure, I should say. And I pulled the squirter off. We took some air, blew it through the squirter itself, and the squirter had gunk in it. It's an E85 car now. It wasn't before. It was a 110 car. Here's another thing. If it's an E85 carburetor, your car runs on ethanol, E90, E85, E70, Ignite E90, any type of ethanol like that, really strong ethanol content, they break down. All right, what I mean by that is if they sit for any amount of time, it almost looks like sugar or broken glass. All right, it's a powdery mix. And what it'll do is it'll gum the carburetor up. It'll gum your fuel system up. I've seen it literally coat the bottom of a fuel cell or a fuel tank, doesn't matter, and clog up the whole fuel system when they sit over winter. The problem with that is when they come back from being freshly rebuilt, they run them with E85, and most companies leave fuel inside of them, or a little bit of fuel, or they run them and they don't clear them out of fuel. In this case, I do not think that the car or the carburetor itself was cleaned out thoroughly or not, my opinion. So I put the squirter back on, start the car back up, same thing, I'm in the same issue. Secondaries aren't firing on tipping for the secondaries, right? I mean, I could be half throttle, whack it, and I get an 80-year-old man piss coming out of that thing, when it should be pissing out like a damn fire truck hose. Now that right there tells me that you can't trust them. So what you need to do is anytime you get your carburetor back from a company, or you buy a carburetor, when you buy a new carburetor, right, you need to pull it apart and find out what you got. One, you need to find out what jets are in it. You need to find out if it even has a power valve. What power valve setup are you running? What squirters are in it? Alright, does it have down leg boosters? Does it have straight angle boosters? Is the base plate nice and tight? Because I've seen them come out of the box with the base plate loose. Is the middle screw out of the base plate so it doesn't fall down into the intake? There's a bunch of different things. I'll tell you, I bought my 650 Brawler, and I got it out the box, and the diaphragm wasn't sitting in the accelerator. It was kind of half crooked in there. I wasn't getting no fuel through the top of the squirter on the front side. All right, all due to the little rubber piece inside that diaphragm. So I popped it through, put it back together, started it up, no issues, none whatsoever. The car ran perfectly fine. I mean, that should tell you a lot. Now, you should know that there is a well where the diaphragm's at. That accelerator pump is pushing fuel through a small orifice. If that orifice is clogged, because that is the main channel for the top squirter to get the initial pump shot, right? If it's not giving you the initial pump shot, you'll have a dead spot in transition. When you go from part throttle to wide open throttle, it'll pop on you. Chances are, it could try to backfire through the carburetor. It could stumble, try to fall on its face, and then pick right back up again. And you'll be chasing your tail all day long. You gotta know what you're looking for. And I can tell people that the main thing is making sure that you're taking that carburetor and you know exactly what's in it, so you know what to change for next time. So where we're at with it now is the car is about ready to go to the racetrack. I'm happy with it now. We got the issue cleared up. Goes right through. No issues in the back squirter. And as I was posting the video, because I was just posting them just to let you guys see what I was looking at, maybe have you guys talking in the comments, I had a phone call from Terry the Mad Scientist, And he knew exactly what the problem was as soon as I listened to the voicemail late after I had fixed the problem and addressed it. And he knew right away. Hey, that back squirter's there's no fuel coming through that back squirter. That's your dead spot. Right? Now, this is somebody that's been around carburetors and cars for a long time. Yeah, I'm just a young pup. But even he's had the experience. These car companies, or these carburetor companies, they do not go through these things. They do, but who's to say somebody got lazy at the end of their shift and didn't tighten a fuel bowl, or didn't tighten a base plate screw, or didn't make sure that the diaphragm was sitting in their level, or didn't make sure that the squirter was actually working, right? Those are little things. So, if you learn anything today, I hope you learn that you need to take your stuff apart. There's nothing wrong with that. And know what you got in it. Know what the front jet is, or know what the primary jet is. Know what type of metering blocks you got. Do you have 4-corner metering blocks? Do you have the old style that only has the front 2 metering auto mixture screws in the metering blocks? What accelerator pump is in it? What diaphragm is in it? There's different CC diaphragms. I mean, the air bleeds down to everything. Make sure that you cover it 10 ways from Sunday. Alright? And once you do that, your chances of that car running a lot better than what it is very high. Very high. And you can rule out a lot of things. I diagnosed a car yesterday while I was working on that car right over the phone. Hey man, the thing's idling really good. It feels really strong on wide open throttle, but when I go to whack it and just tip in on it, it stumbles. Okay, let me ask you a question. The accelerator pump arm, there's a spring with a nut. Is there any play in that? Yeah, there's a little play. Okay, there goes your problem. Tighten that up. Tighten it up on both sides. There should be no play. By the time you engage that throttle, that accelerator pump arm should be moving, right? That is going to give you your initial pump shot. So if you don't have that tightened, what'll happen is when you go to whack it, there's that little time difference between, I mean, you should barely see any space in there, right? It should be ready to go at all times. If you have, 3 or 4 thousandths of a space in there, right? That is a major concern for when you go to tip in. That is the major issue. You go to tip in and you don't have no fuel, right? And the motor fires late. Everything fires late. All right, the motor's doing what it needs to do, but the fuel's not getting there because it's not getting delivered at the time that it's supposed to. There's a sequence of events that happen in carburetors, and if the sequence is off, then you'll have the car do all kind of funny things, right? It'll blah, 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 and then pick up and take off. The problem is you need to go over the car, make sure everything's nice and tight, nut and bolt, and check your stuff. But most importantly, if it's a carburetor application, know your carburetor. Make sure that it's put together right. Make sure that you went over all your bases. And I'm excited to see the car. The car's been 1140s. We're trying to go 10s with it. Does it have 410s? Just going to E85 in a different carburetor? Maybe not, but I like a challenge. I'm going to try and do it. The car sounds strong. Hell, we tested it in the dirt because we had nowhere else to test it at. When you seen it in the dirt, that was with it firing on both sides. She was ready to go. She lit a candle, and the car worked. It transferred the weight a little bit and then just ripped up grass. The most important thing is there was no dead stumble. So hopefully you guys learned a little something. I know I did. I appreciate you guys. I'm checking out of here. Everybody have a good day. God bless. And I'll see you guys soon.